Hey, what's going on, guys? So the Our Treasure line of Assemble Heroines is a line that we've taken a look at once in the past, but I wanted to take a look at here again for today's video because here we have Sitara Kaneshiya from Alice Gear Aegis, and if you've seen any of my Megami Device reviews of the different Megami Device model kits of Sitara Kaneshiya, you know that she's one of my favorite characters from the line, and so I really wanted to check out this Assemble Heroines figure here of her. Now, this is a figure that is a little bit different. If you guys have seen anything about the Assemble Heroines line, you know that this is actually a figure that you can build, or not necessarily build as much as just assemble. It's basically a PVC figure, statue figure like you would get from like prize grabber machine or whatever, but in this case it comes all in pieces and you just have to just put it together yourself. Now you might be thinking like, okay, what's the point of that? Well, number one, for those of us who prefer to actually build things than just like take it out of the box and put it on the shelf, it's more fun to build. But on the other hand, the other nice thing about that is if you wanted to repaint any aspect of the figure, like say for example you wanted to repaint the swimsuit, for example, you could do that without having to disassemble the figure, which if you guys have ever tried disassembling a PVC figure, then you know that it's definitely possible, but not the easiest thing to do. It's a lot easier to repaint parts of the kit if it comes in separate parts right out of the box. So that's the nice thing about these. Here on the back, we have a look at some information here about the Sitara Kaneshiya Summer Queens version here, and it looks like we're gonna have options for whether you want to have the cat ears on or not. I'm undecided at the moment, not really super big fan of the whole cat aesthetic, but might just go ahead and leave those on anyway. Let's go ahead and pop the box and take a look at what we've got inside. So we're gonna have, like I said, all the parts all separate, and if we take a look here, you can see this one probably not gonna have a ton of parts compared to maybe some of the other ones in the line. Let's go ahead and pop the first layer. It looks like we've got 3 layers here. And in this layer, we've got the legs. In our typical Sitara Kaneshiya style, it's a little bit darker, a little bit more tan kind of skin tone for this particular character. So there's those parts. These parts, which are parts for like around the top of the legs, the base of the swimsuit anyway. Got our part here for the chest and arms and neck there. You can see where the swimsuit parts are going to fit around there. Our head and pre-painted face. I wonder if we're going to be able to take off the hair, separate the hair from the face part, basically, like if you wanted to repaint the hair. Let's see. Here is the head, and I mean, repainting the hair means something you could definitely do. It's really nicely painted straight out of the box, so it has like a nice shading there to it between the lighter and darker brown. The face also looks really good, very nicely painted, and very easy to take apart here. It looks like it even has, oh, okay, so the ear parts are going to be magnetized, so we got magnets up there for the ears. And as far as taking the face out, separating it from this part of the hair, it looks like that is glued in there, unfortunately. So if you did want to repaint the hair, you might have to do a little bit of work just to get the face separated out of there. If you guys don't know, I think typically the go-to method for disassembling parts like this that have been glued is just putting them in hot to kind of almost boiling water and leaving them there for a minute. It will just softens up the glue, and then you can kind of pull them apart. So anyway, and then up here is the ears for the figure, if I can get these out of here. And so yeah, these ears are just going to magnetize to the head there like that. That's pretty cool. I like that as an option. So yeah, if you don't want to have those on there, you can opt to go without, or you can just pop them right onto the head. That's nice. All right, second layer here. So I guess it is going to be only 2 layers. I was thinking that it's 3. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of plastic, but 2 layers of parts. Here's our big base plate. It's in a nice glossy white. In here, we've got our main parts for the swimsuit there, the top and bottom half of that. And these are the parts that I'm interested in possibly repainting. We'll get back to that. And a few other smaller bits here, including the tail as well, which is also nicely painted there from the dark brown going to white there at the end. We got another skin tone piece for, I think, around at the back, a couple little ties there for the swimsuit, a couple small little connection pieces, and a clear plastic rod for attaching her onto the base. Actually, yeah, this plugs onto the main hole on the base. So, all right, let me get her all assembled here. Oh, and by the way, there is also instructions included there in the box as well, as I'm getting the figure put together here, but there's a couple little bits, especially for mounting her onto the base. I'm looking at trying to figure out exactly how those work, but here on the instructions, that is the layout of everything that's included, and then the assembly here is made clear going on to the back. Like I said, it's a very simple assembly, but just wanted to make sure like exactly which of these parts we're maybe supposed to use there for that. So if you didn't want to use the tail, you can use this one, which would just plug directly into the back side of the swimsuit. Otherwise, if you did want to use the tail, basically this one is just a support piece that rests up underneath the tail. So that's how that's gonna work. But alright, so here, once everything is assembled here for our heroine, this is how it's going to look straight out of the box. One thing I will say is that the skin tone for the face definitely looks slightly darker than the skin tone for the rest of the body. So one thing that I might be interested in doing is maybe doing a little bit of shading on the skin tone parts for the body. Not necessarily repainting at all by any means, but maybe just a little bit of shading, just to try to make the skin of the body match with the skin tone of the face a little bit better. Just also because the skin on the face also has some like shading and some like blush on the cheeks, so it's like really nicely painted, and the skin tone for the rest of the body is just kind of flat a little bit, so a little bit of shading would probably help with that. And then like I said, I do want to try to repaint the swimsuit as well, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And the other thing that I'm going to do, and I would recommend for you guys to do too if you plan on getting any of these figures, is just you don't necessarily need to glue anything. Everything's stuck together pretty well, but I would also recommend gluing some parts, so I will go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back and kind of take a look at what the finished product is going to look like here. Alright, and then here, after I've gone ahead and done some repainting on this, repainted the swimsuit with some gloss black and then Mr. Color gold on top of that. It's a little bit darker than maybe what I would have liked to have gone for. I think a brighter gold maybe would also have looked good, but the gold is a good match for the character, I think. And then on the skin tone parts, also did some painting on there, basically used some Mr. Color Lascivious. I think it's Clear Flesh Orange, I think is the name of the color, right? And again, didn't fully repaint the skin tone parts, but basically just did a little bit of shading and some tonal variation to try to match the face a little bit more. I think I still probably don't have it exactly quite right, but it looks better than it did straight out of the box, so I'm happy with how this is looking right now. And like I was saying before, this is exactly why this Assemble Heroines line is nice, because if you are a fan of just having like a figure like this, not an articulated model kit, you just want a nice figure to put up on your shelves, but you do want to have the opportunity to maybe repaint some of the parts, or maybe do a little bit of maybe some detail work, or like I did in this case, adding some shading or adding some decals or something like that. I think that's that you could do on any type of figure, but this line is great for if you do want to customize your figures and not have to worry about taking apart figures that come all glued together and everything. So yeah, I like it. I'm a fan. And like I said, just being a fan of this particular character, glad to add her to the collection here. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below of my repaint work, and then just of the line in general. Is it something that you guys have been interested in as well? And of course, if you guys want to check out some more figures from the line or any kind of different anime figures, you can check the link in the video description down below to USA Gundam Store. We've got all sorts of great figures, model kits, paints, tools, supplies, all that good stuff. So check out the link in the video description. And as always, guys, thank you so much for all of your support, leaving a like, leaving a comment, making sure that you're subscribed. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Until next time, hope you all have a great day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.